Okay, I have never done this before, but hopefully you can hear my voice and hopefully you can see my screen. I just opened the assessment, so I'll get started. I'm using Atom as my text editor here. I'm just going to copy and paste this in. This is just asking me, there are lesser of these two numbers. I believe I can just use a math method to do that. I think it asked me to return the lesser of the two. So I will return math.min num1, num2. This is pretty straightforward, I think, so I'm just going to console log. I'm just going to console log these to make sure I'm not missing something. Console log. And this should, and if I run this, I should get the same answers that were expected: 4, 3, and -10, 4, 3, and -10. And that is my exercise. I suppose I could have also just done a simple Boolean statement. If num1 is less than num2, return num1, else return num2. Exercise 2. Okay. There might be a simpler way to do this, but I think I can write a simple Boolean if input equals null, return true. Else return all right, maybe, who's to say? I'm going to check if that's right. I need to take that out. All right, maybe, who's to say? Now my unit test, which I'll just console log, is, am I right in thinking that if nothing is included in the input, that's treated as null? So let me just run that. Console.log. It was hot dog sandwich. Don't put anything there. I hope that I will get back true in the console. I did not. Okay, maybe if I just treat it like a blank string, I don't think that's going to work, but let me just try it. No. If input is false. No. Uh-oh. Okay. Try something different then. What if I just say if true, turn try to write it. Okay, I'm a little bit stuck here, so let me think about this. If nothing is provided, as an input, so if a parameter is not provided, I'm not sure about this one, so I'm just going to Google it. I didn't try undefined. That's what I missed. If input equals undefined. Now, I hope this is going to work. So if input is undefined, return true, else return. Now let's try it. Got it. I don't know why that took me so long. I should have thought to try undefined and not null. And I should have known that if nothing is provided, it would be treated as undefined. Okay, on to exercise 3. I'm just going to copy this over to the text editor. Don't worry about moaning. I think the tax and the tip will both be applied just to the subtotal as opposed to added upon themselves. So I believe what I want to return is subtotal plus subtotal times 0.09875 plus subtotal times 0.2. Again, this is pretty straightforward, so I'm just going to console log to check. I'll do these two. 255.85 and 259.75. Comment out all these other console logs so they're not in my way. Okay, on to exercise 4. Okay, so this is just going to take in a number, compare it to 250, and return a string that's going to include the number compared to the budget. So I'm just going to go ahead and write the function as I read this here in the same order that it's written. It's fairly straightforward, I think. If the input cost is greater than 250, then over budget by, return string that says over budget by, and that's going to be cost minus 250. And then I need a space dollars. Else, I'm going to return under budget by. This is going to be 250 minus the cost. The exercise doesn't specify what should happen if the cost is exactly 250. The way that I've written it, it's going to produce under budget by $0, which I'm going to assume is fine since it's not specified in the exercise. And again, this is pretty simple, so I'm just going to console log to test. And I'll console log based on exactly what's in the exercise here. I'm just going to add a console log. And console log. So if I did this right, my console is going to display these 3 statements. Oops. Maybe I just need parentheses around these. I wondered about that as I was writing it. Let's try it again. Under budget by $95. Over budget by $161. Under budget by no. Okay, on to the next. I'm just going to comment these out. And on to the next exercise. Okay. For this one, I should just be able to divide by 60 to get the number of minutes, and then use the mod to get the remainder, and that'll be the number of seconds. I'll take those numbers and I'll insert them into a string just by concatenating them. For this one, I'm actually going to set up a couple of variables. Var minutes equals seconds divided by 60. I'm going to make sure that this rounds down to an integer. And so I believe I can just use math dot ceil, and that will round down the number to the nearest integer. Here, I'm going to call this variable remaining seconds, which is just going to be seconds mod 60. And now I'm just going to return the string. Return minutes space minutes and main seconds space seconds. Just checking to make sure that I did the text correctly. That should have worked. Again, checking this should be fairly simple, so I'm just going to console log to check. In all these cases, I suppose I could be setting up assertion tests, but for the sake of time on these simpler ones, just gonna go straight to console log. I haven't used the math.ceiling method that often. Hopefully I did it right. We'll find out now. 5 minutes and 0 seconds, 88 minutes and 5 seconds. So I'm rounding up. I should do math before 5 minutes. Yep, I was thinking about the wrong math method there, but fixed it in the console.log tests. On to the next exercise. Here we go. Six. Go ahead and copy this in. Looks like it's going to make sense to create a couple of variables real quickly. I'll call this length, and that's going to be equal to length of the array, the last index value. thinking about that right, the last index value there, last index equals, it's just going to be array.length minus 1. I don't see any test cases where that's not the case. So now this is just as simple again as returning a string and calling these variables as part of the string. Length. Oops. Length. Comma. Last element. Again, fairly straightforward. I will just console log these and make sure I'm getting the same results that are specified. In the exercise. Length 3, index the last element. Looks like it's all written out in the right way. So I'm going to comment it out and move on. So I'm going to get the first letters out of each of the strings in an array. Word bank is the array. It's simple enough. I'm just going to do a for loop. The first letter of each string is capitalized. Okay, so I don't need to capitalize each of them. I can just get them. And here, this is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to write it out. I'm going to do a for loop on word bank is less than word bank length. And increment I. So I know I need this for loop. Also, need to create a string. I think the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to create an acronym array. I'm going to initialize it as empty. In this loop, I'll add each of the first letters into that array, and then I will join that array to create the acronym as a string, and I'll return that. So I just want to take word bank I0, which is going to give me the first character of the string in that location of the array. And I want to actually push that into the acronym array. So I want to go acronym array dot push. That'll take each of the first letters, put them in the acronym array. Now I believe I can simply now return acronym array dot join. Make sure there aren't commas in between. And that should give me what I want. One more time, I will just console log this and make sure that I'm thinking about it the right way. So I did something wrong here. No, I forgot to put there in front of this. Try again. Okay. I'm doing something wrong here. So I'm just going to quickly check to see if I've okay. That's why. Let's try that one more time. And I got NASA and who? So my compare function sign was pointed the wrong way. But once I fix that, it's good to go. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more space here and move on to exercise 8. Go ahead and copy this in. I should return the person's city and state with a comma in between. City and state are simply properties on the person object. So again, I think this is going to be quite straightforward. In fact, I believe I can just return I can return those two properties directly and just place a comma in between. So let's give that a try. Should be able to just take person dot city plus comma space plus person dot state. And that should be all that's necessary, but let me pull in this. As well as this. Again here, this is really straightforward, I think. So I'm just gonna console log each of these two and just make sure that I'm getting the results that are expected. Seattle, Washington, Boston, Mass. So I'm good on these. going to move on to exercise 9. Number array multiplied by factor. Replace the value of the original array. I believe that this I can just use the map method. So let's give that a try. And I believe the map method does return a new array. So I'm just going to return number array dot map. I think I need a callback function here. So I'm going to take function number, return number times factor. And I believe that'll do the trick if I am using that map method correctly. So again, as long as I'm using it correctly, this is really straightforward, and I should be able to validate that I'm using it correctly by doing a console log. So let's just do a quick console log and make sure I'm getting the same expected results. Zero, 12, 24, 36, 50, and 100, 14, 28, 42. So, okay. I could probably also check to make sure that, well, since these aren't variables, in theory, I could create a variable. I could run it through this function and make sure that that original array didn't change. I know that the map function doesn't change the original array. And so I'm not going to bother checking that at this point. And I'm going to move on to, I'm going to comment these out. And move on to the next exercise. I'll just copy this in. So this function would be used to just validate that the data has been checked and it's checked by me. I think that's straightforward enough. And I'm going to return the full object when I run the function. No, I don't need to, this function just has a side effect that's important. So I don't even need to return anything out of this function if I'm understanding this correctly. All I need to do is say object to check dot data checked equals true. Check by. Just checking to make sure I'm spelling that right. Data checked and checked by equals my name. I think it's as simple as that. No need to specifically return anything. This is already console logging for me. So I can just copy and paste this in and run it and make sure I get the expected result. Make to previous data checked is true. Checked by, in this case, is my name, RonnyWoods. Okay. Create some space here. Comment this out. And on all of these, they were all straightforward enough where I think just console logging them was the right way to test to make sure that I built the function correctly and meeting the requirements of the exercise. I'm going to go ahead on to the additional exercises, which are here, and keep going. Additional exercise 1. In this case, I know there's probably a cleaner way to do this, but I'm just going to do this as a for loop. Yep, I'm just going to create a counter. There, counter equals 0, and I'm going to loop through every letter of the sentence. Each time the letter is found, I'm going to increment the counter. And then I'm going to return the counter at the end. So now I'll just write my for loop. Length and increment I. And in this for loop, I'm just going to say if sentence at index I is equal to letter, then counter, and increment counter. And that should be it. So that should give me what I want. I can check it just by console logging these. Make sure that I didn't do something wrong here. Let's give it a try. 0, 6, and 1. That's what was expected. So I'm good on additional exercise 1. To additional exercise 2. Copy this in. So this is asking me to take the first letter of the parameter string, convert it to a capital letter, and ensure everything else is lowercase. I think what I'll do here is I'll take each word in the string, delimit it by a space. I'll put it in an array. I will change everything to lowercase. And then let me write all this down. So I want to convert string to array of words. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert string to all lowercase. Words. Convert first letter in each word to uppercase. And then I will join the array of words. So the first thing that I'll do is convert to all lowercase. I can't remember the exact syntax to do that, so I'm just going to check quickly. Here in MDN, string to lowercase. The syntax is just the string into lowercase. Okay. Your string equals string dot to lowercase. Now I want to take that and split based on that space. Actually, I want to create another variable for that. Variable words. I'll call this lower words. Now I'm going to loop through each element of that array. Converting the first letter of each element to uppercase. Lower words at index I equals I need the first letter, lower words at index I at location 0 dot to uppercase plus It's not gonna work. How do I add the rest of the word? Let me just look at my string methods and see if of course I can use slice. In fact, I can just use slice in this whole thing. Slice, and then I'll just start at index 0. They're going to splice, which is not an option, so I take that back. I'm going to use this plus lower words dot slice. I think I just want to begin at index 1. I'll have to check that to make sure I'm doing it right. I think that'll work. That's going to convert each word in the lower words array to uppercase. And so now I simply want to join lower words. That should give me the desired result. I'm a little bit uncertain on this one, so let's see if I did it right by just doing a console log. Because I think I'm running out of time here anyway. The only problem is I don't have a space between them. I think I can fix that here. Peter Piper, text message. And more to me, I think meets the eye. All right, success. I'm just going to remove these comments altogether to keep my code a little bit cleaner. And I'm going to move on to additional exercise. Name is an object within an object, as is birthday. Function get name and birthday is enabled. I'll write this out. Function get name and birthday. I'll just call this person. Given object, this structure is always just going to be one person. I think I can return this all in one line. So I'm just going to return the first thing I need is first name space last name. That's going to be person dot name dot first plus space plus person dot name dot last plus colon and a space plus birthday dot month person dot birthday dot month plus another space plus person dot birthday dot day plus comma and then the year plus person dot birthday dot year. And that should be it. Again, pretty straightforward. So I'm just gonna do a console log to test, make sure I'm not missing something. Colon. All right, I believe I can eyeball it and get all these characters. Again, if it was longer, I could do a compare or a assertion function to check, but I can just look at it and see that I'm getting the result I expected. So again, we'll just comment this out. Do additional exercise 4. All right. Person. Okay, I should be able to use the same logic I used in exercise 2 earlier, but I'll re-type it out. I'm going to create variables for each of these. So I'm going to go variable new first name, variable new last name, variable new month. And now I'm just going to use person.name.first. to lowercase. Actually, I think I can convert this all in one line to the appropriate casing. So I'm going to say person.name.first, and I'm going to take first character dot to uppercase, and then just concatenate it with this to lowercase. And then I can do the exact same thing here. Changing first to last, first to last. And I can actually do the same thing with month. And now this is birthday. Month. Okay, now that I have variables that are cased correctly, I can just return, just as we did in the previous exercise. So I'm going to return new first name and a space and new last name and colon space and new month and another space and person dot birthday dot day and a comma space and person dot day dot year. And it looks like we're out of time, so I'm just going to do a quick check of this and make sure that I did that the right way. Again, just using console log. And let's see what we get. Did just what I wanted it to do. So with that, I can comment these out and stop the recording.